After my older sister, Cecilia, and I hit adulthood, our parents dropped a bomb. One of us had to run the family business. The other had to marry into the Spencer family in Norwick City. Cecilia, blinded by greed, called dibs on the company without blinking. Problem was she was all talk. Spent her days jet-setting and partying while the business tanked. Within a year, she'd burned it all to the ground. Me? I got the Spencer name and popped out 2 boys, locking in my spot as the rich wife. Cecilia couldn't handle it. Jealousy made her snap. She straight up stabbed me at a family party. Next thing I knew, I was back on the day we had to choose. Cecilia didn't even pause. I'll marry into the Spencer family. The business can go to Demi. I laughed. My poor clueless sister. She had no idea she was walking straight into hell. I fell for Mike Spencer the second I saw him. I want to be with him. Demi's way smarter. She'll totally crush it running the company. Our parents looked ready to hand me over to the Spencers, but Cecilia freaked. Her face turned bright red, like she was about to combust. Girl was desperate to snag Mike and seal her spot as the wife of some rich heir. Funny thing? Just a few days ago, she was out here flexing about being a boss babe. Now she'd flipped the script completely. Mom and Dad were too stunned to say anything, totally thrown off by how fast she switched up. Me? I stayed quiet on the couch, flipping through the company's financials with a smirk. Even with a second shot at life, Cecilia couldn't help crashing headfirst into the same mess. Mom kept quiet, but Dad had thoughts, as usual. Cecilia, it's better to count on yourself. Sure, he might like you now, but people change. I've heard things about Mike. Not exactly glowing. Just think about it. I don't want you getting hurt. He wasn't wrong. Banking your whole life on some guy? Dumbest move ever. Dad had seen it too many times. Men ditching their day one wives the second they got rich. The women who stuck around got left in the dust. No surprise he didn't want that fate for us. But Cecilia wasn't having it. Maybe she remembered how good I had it in my last life. Chauffeured in luxury cars, stacked bank account, and 2 picture-perfect sons everyone envied. She clung to the idea that marrying Mike beat running the company and watching it crash. Dad's warning went in one ear, out the other. She even poked her ear annoyed. Oh Dad, that's just 'cause those women were useless. I'm gorgeous and charming. He'd be lucky to have me. Why would he leave? You've met him. He's a total gentleman. Those rumors are trash. She looked like she already had the trophy in hand, eyes glowing with pure delusion. To her this was a dream path. Why hustle through endless meetings and travel when you could sip wine and hit parties as a pampered housewife? I dropped my head, biting back a laugh. Mike might play the polished prince in public, but behind closed doors? Full-on monster. He clawed his way up as an illegitimate son in the Spencer fam. And trust me, whatever it took to get there wasn't pretty. He made me schmooze nonstop, forced drinks down my throat till I puked blood, and couldn't care less. If something didn't go his way, he'd hit me. I was rocking long sleeves in the middle of July just to hide the bruises. And the Spencers? Total snake pit, power games, fake smiles, nonstop backstabbing. That house didn't just ruin you. It swallowed you whole. How could that even compare to peacefully running the family business? But she was set. Our parents just sighed and retreated to their room, done arguing. On her way out, Cecilia tossed me a smug little smirk. Demi, when the company crashes and you're broke, hit me up. Maybe I'll let you carry my purse. I grinned. We'll see who ends up begging. Poor thing. So lucky she gets to be smacked around by her doting husband and trashed by her lovely in-laws. Meanwhile, I'm stuck crying in my billion-dollar office. Oh, and occasionally hiring a few hot guys for fun. Cecilia and Mike's wedding was straight out of a magazine. Held at the iconic Centennial Hotel, packed with industry elites. Dressed in a custom gown, Cecilia was glowing with pride. Arrogance practically dripping off her as she made her rounds. She dragged Mike over to toast me, clearly just to flex. Demi, first time meeting your brother-in-law, huh? When your business tanks, maybe he'll toss you a lifeline. Women shouldn't have to work so hard anyway. You should have found a man. Too bad luck skipped you. She really thought she'd finally won. That look on her face? Pure victory. Mike gave me a polite nod, playing the part. But the second her tone turned smug, I caught the flicker in his eyes, his brow twitching. I knew that look. I'd lived it. He was already sick of her. Cecilia was a walking disaster. Once Mike's interest fizzled, she was toast. When I didn't react, she figured I was just bitter. Threw a few more jabs, then strutted off clinging to Mike like she'd bagged a prize. I didn't have time for her drama anyway. I'd just taken over the company. Networking was the real win tonight. With half the city's power players here, I grabbed a drink and got to work. In my past life, Cecilia thought she was some business queen who didn't need to respect anyone. She blew off potential partners and acted like the rules didn't apply to her. That arrogance got her blacklisted by the powerful Felton family. Before dessert was even served. Not me. I played it smart, cards out, smile on. Left the right kind of impression on all the right people. Just as I was finally catching my breath, chaos popped off in the middle of the hall. You bumped into me on purpose. What, you think I'm blind? Trying to ruin my wedding day. Do you even know who my husband is? Cecilia, all sweet and glowy 5 seconds ago, now had fire in her eyes, snapping at some poor girl. The girl looked like she was about to cry, clearly not built for this kind of public meltdown. I didn't mean to. I was looking for my brother and accidentally bumped into you. I already apologized. She stood frozen, cheeks flushed, eyes wide, everyone staring like she was some villain. It was barely a thing, definitely not worth a meltdown. But Cecilia saw her chance to flex and wasn't about to let it slide. This dress was flown in from France. You stepped on it. You couldn't afford a single thread. Who even are you, some servant who snuck in? Everyone in that elite circle knew each other. So when she didn't recognize the girl, she pounced. Clearly figured she'd found a nobody to humiliate. The girl looked seconds from crying. I couldn't just watch. Cecilia, come on, it's your wedding. She didn't mean it. Let it go. That wiped the smug off her face fast. She sneered. How do you know she didn't do it on purpose? Maybe she's jealous of my marriage. I've seen her type before, desperate and bitter. You defending her? What? Did you plant her to wreck my day? Didn't expect her to go full psycho. My smile dropped cold. But before I could fire back, a voice sliced through the tension. The Spencer family really picked a gem. I turned toward the shadows. Some guy had slipped in, tall, sharp, and absolutely radiating don't mess with me energy. His face? Ridiculously perfect. But right now, he looked like a storm ready to wreck everything. Silence hit the room like a slap. Then someone whispered. And Mr. Felton. Boom. Chaos. Terrence Felton. The Felton family's top dog. Straight up Norwick royalty. One raised eyebrow from him could crash a company. Most of us wouldn't even breathe the same air as him. People started whispering fast. Why the hell was he here? Only one person looked relieved, like she just spotted her personal hero. The girl ran straight into his arms, tears spilling. Terrence. You know I didn't mean to. Mike's dad, old and sly, jumped in first. Mr. Felton. Big misunderstanding, that's all. He went in for a handshake. Terrence dodged it like nothing and locked eyes with Cecilia. So many witnesses. Wouldn't be fair to let this slide, right? Let's just roll the security footage. Cecilia froze like someone hit pause. She whipped toward Mike, panicked. Babe, come on. No need for that. I swear it was an accident. I'm sorry. Too late. Terrence didn't even blink at her drama. One wave, and boom, security footage lit up the big screen. There she was, glaring daggers after spotting Mike all over some other girl. Too chicken to call him out, she zeroed in on the quietest target, Miss Felton. She stormed over and slammed into her, totally on purpose. The rest? Everyone already saw it live. Cecilia's face went tomato red as the receipts played out. She looked at Mike, eyes screaming, do something. But Mike, barely clinging to his spot in the Spencer family, was already fuming. Getting dragged into this mess? That just lit the fuse. No shot he was bailing her out now. Terrence stayed cool. If the Spencers have a problem with my sister, let's just cancel all pending orders. One line. That's all it took to torch everything the Spencers had hustled for with the Feltons. Mike's grandpa straight up fainted. The room exploded. Everyone knew, you don't cross Terrence Felton and walk away clean. They swarmed him with apologies, but Terrence didn't even glance their way. Just took his sister and walked. Then right as he passed me, he stopped. You're Demi Dawson? I blinked. You know me. First smile I'd seen from him all night. You're graceful. Composed. Thanks for standing up for Freya. So that was her name, Freya. She lit up and begged to add me on socials. Like I was saying no to that. Major win. As they walked off, she kept turning back. Thank you. Let's meet sometime. Terrence gently pulled her along before she could keep rambling. Back inside, Mike had already hauled Cecilia out. The rest of the crowd? Still reeling. By tomorrow, this drama would be everywhere. Cecilia was toast, and honestly, she brought it on herself. The next morning, the headlines were brutal. Spencer wedding disaster. New bride insults Felton heiress. $1 billion mistake. How one temper tantrum cost Spencer Corp everything. My phone was blowing up with texts and calls, but I ignored them. I had a company to run. In my previous life, Cecilia had driven our family business into the ground by chasing trends and ignoring the fundamentals. She treated the office like her personal playground, hiring friends and firing anyone who dared to question her. I wasn't making those mistakes. I arrived at the office at 7 a.m. sharp. The employees looked nervous. They knew the company was shaky after Cecilia's brief, chaotic stint before the wedding, and they were waiting to see if I was just another spoiled daughter. Good morning, I said, walking into the conference room. Let's get started. I laid out a 3-month recovery plan. Cost-cutting, restructuring, and a pivot back to our core strengths. I spoke clearly, decisively. By the end of the meeting, the skepticism in the room had been replaced by cautious optimism. As I was leaving the meeting, my assistant, Sarah, handed me a tablet. Ms. Dawson, you might want to see this. It was a live stream. Cecilia was outside the Felton Group headquarters, on her knees. I sighed. She had no dignity. In the video, reporters were swarming her. Mrs. Spencer, is it true you've been banned from all Felton properties? Did Mike Spencer force you to come here? Are the divorce rumors true? Cecilia looked a mess. Her hair was frizzy, her eyes swollen. She was sobbing, screaming for Terrence Felton to come out and forgive her. Please. It was a mistake. I didn't know who she was. Just give us back the contracts. I closed the tablet. Pathetic. Just then my phone rang. It was Mom. Demi. You have to help your sister. She was hysterical. Mike beat her. He beat her black and blue last night, because of the Felton deal. She's at the hospital now, but the Spencers are threatening to throw her out if she doesn't fix this. I leaned back in my chair. Mom, what do you want me to do? I'm not Terrence Felton. You spoke to him last night. He smiled at you. Go talk to him. Use your connection. Save your sister. I almost laughed. Mom, he smiled at me because I wasn't a psychopath attacking his sister. I don't have any connection with him. And frankly, Cecilia dug this grave. She can lie in it. Demi. How can you be so heartless? She's your sister. She's the sister who told me to beg for scraps when I went broke, remember? I hung up. I wasn't heartless. I was just done playing the victim. A week later, I received an invitation. The Felton Group annual gala. My heart skipped a beat. This was the most exclusive event of the year. Getting an invite meant you had arrived. I looked at the RSVP card. There was a handwritten note at the bottom. Freya insists you come. Don't disappoint her. T. I stared at the T. Terrence. I smiled. Maybe I did have a connection after all. The gala was breathtaking. The Felton estate was like something out of a fairy tale. Gardens lit by thousands of fairy lights. A ballroom with ceilings painted like the Sistine Chapel. I wore a sleek emerald green gown that hugged my curves but kept things professional. I wasn't here to find a husband. I was here to find investors. Freya spotted me immediately. Demi. She practically tackled me. You came. I told Terrence you wouldn't flake. She linked her arm with mine and dragged me through the crowd, introducing me to everyone. This is Demi Dawson. She's the smart one. She runs Dawson Enterprises. Thanks to her enthusiastic endorsements, I collected about 20 business cards in 10 minutes. Then the crowd parted. Terrence walked in. He was wearing a tuxedo that fit him like a second skin. He looked dangerous and elegant all at once. He walked straight toward us. Freya, let her breathe, he said, his voice deep and smooth. Freya stuck her tongue out at him but let go of my arm. Fine. But you owe me a dance later, Demi. Terrence looked at me. His eyes were dark, intelligent. Miss Dawson. Glad you could make it. Mr. Felton. Thank you for the invite. Freya likes you. That's rare. She usually finds social climbers exhausting. I'm not climbing, I said, meeting his gaze. I'm building. He raised an eyebrow. Is that so? I heard you're turning Dawson Enterprises around. Impressive work on the Q3 projections. I was stunned. You checked my projections? I check everything, he said. Especially when my sister makes a new friend. He took 2 glasses of champagne from a passing waiter and handed one to me. So tell me, why didn't you marry Mike Spencer? I almost choked on my drink. Excuse me. The rumor mill says it was a toss-up between you and your sister. You chose the business. Why? I looked him in the eye. Because I'd rather rely on my own brain than a man's mood. Terrence stared at me for a long second. Then a slow smile spread across his face. It transformed him from intimidating to devastatingly handsome. Good answer. Just then, a commotion broke out at the entrance. Let me in. I need to speak to Mr. Felton. It was Cecilia. Again. She wasn't wearing a gown this time. She was wearing a trench coat and she looked manic. Security was holding her back. Terrence. Please. Just 5 minutes, she screamed. The music stopped. The room went silent. Terrence's face hardened instantly. The warmth vanished. He signaled to his head of security. Remove her. And ensure she never steps foot within a mile of my property again. As they dragged her away, she spotted me. Demi. Demi, help me. Tell him. Tell him I'm your sister. I stood still, glass in hand. I didn't move. I didn't speak. Terrence looked at me. Do you want to go talk to her? I took a sip of champagne. No. I'm bousé. Terrence clinked his glass against mine. Cheers to that. Over the next 6 months, Dawson Enterprises didn't just recover, it soared. I secured 3 major contracts that Cecilia had laughed at in the past. I modernized our supply chain. Our stock price doubled. Meanwhile, the Spencer family was in freefall. Without the Felton contracts, their cash flow dried up. Creditors came knocking. And Mike was unraveling. The abuse rumors weren't rumors anymore. Photos leaked of Cecilia with a black eye, a split lip. Mom called me every day crying. He's going to kill her, Demi. You have to do something. I can't interfere in a marriage, Mom, I said, typing away on my laptop. Besides, she chose him. Remember? She said he was a gentleman. She was wrong. She was stupid. Please just give her some money so she can run away. I don't have personal money to give, I lied. Everything is reinvested in the company. You know, the company she tried to bankrupt. One rainy Tuesday, my secretary buzzed me. Ms. Dawson, there's a Mrs. Spencer here to see you. I sighed. Send her in. Cecilia walked in. She looked like a ghost. She was thin, her skin sallow. She wore dark sunglasses indoors. She sat down without asking. I need a job, she said. Her voice was raspy. You have a job, I said. Being Mrs. Spencer. She took off her sunglasses. I flinched. Her left eye was swollen shut. There were yellow bruises fading on her cheekbone. He broke my ribs last week, she whispered. Because I burned the toast. In my past life, this was me. The fear. The pain. The hopelessness. But she wasn't me. She was the one who had stabbed me to death in a fit of jealousy. I'm sorry to hear that, I said coldly. Sorry? She slammed her hand on the desk. That's it? I'm your sister. Give me a job. I can be a manager. I can run marketing. I laughed. Marketing? Cecilia, you insulted our biggest potential client on your wedding day. You have zero skills. You have zero experience. Why would I hire you? Because if you don't, I'm dead, she screamed. He's going to kill me. I need money to leave him. I need a way out. I leaned forward. You had a way out. You had a choice. You chose the easy life. You chose the rich husband. You laughed at me for choosing the work. Now you want me to save you. I opened my drawer and pulled out a card. It wasn't a check. It was a business card for a women's shelter. Go here. They'll help you file a police report and get a restraining order. She stared at the card like it was poison. A shelter? You want me to go to a shelter? With poor people. Even now. Even with broken ribs. The entitlement was wrought in her soul. Take it or leave it, I said. She stood up, spitting on the floor. I hope you rot, Demi. You're jealous. You've always been jealous of me. You want to see me suffer because I got the man you wanted. The man I wanted? I gestured to her bruised face. You can keep him. She stormed out. 2 hours later, Terrence called. Dinner? I have a board meeting. Cancel it. I'm buying Dawson Enterprises stock. We need to discuss terms. I froze. You're what? Buying stock. Not a takeover. Just a partnership. I think we make a good team. I smiled. 7 p.m. Don't be late. The partnership with Felton Group catapulted me into the stratosphere. We launched a joint venture in renewable energy tech. It was massive. My face was on the cover of Forbes. The new queen of industry. Terrence and I grew closer. It wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was a slow burn. Late nights at the office, heated debates over strategy that turned into dinner, which turned into lingering glances. He respected me. He challenged me. He didn't want a trophy. He wanted an equal. One night, after a successful product launch, we were in his penthouse, celebrating with a bottle of vintage wine. You know, he said, looking out at the city lights. My grandmother keeps asking when I'm going to settle down. Tell her you're married to your work, I teased. He turned to me. I was. Until I met someone who works harder than I do. He stepped closer. The air between us crackled. Demi, I don't play games. I want you. Not for business. For everything. My heart hammered. This was Terrence Felton. The man every woman in the city dreamed of. And he was looking at me like I was the only person in the world. I come with baggage, I whispered. My family is a mess. I don't care about your family. I care about you. He kissed me. It wasn't like Mike's kisses in my past life. Possessive, demanding. It was hungry, yes, but also tender. It felt like a promise. We were interrupted by my phone ringing. I pulled away, breathless. I have to take this. It's the emergency line for the office. I picked up. Ms. Dawson? It's the police. My blood ran cold. What happened? It's your sister. And your brother-in-law. There was an incident at the Spencer estate. Are they okay? Mr. Spencer is dead. Mrs. Spencer is in custody. She stabbed him. I dropped the phone. The past had repeated itself. But this time she didn't stab me. She stabbed the man she fought so hard to get. The trial was the scandal of the decade. Socialite wife murders billionaire husband. I sat in the back of the courtroom every day. Not to support her, but to witness. Cecilia claimed self-defense. Her lawyers painted a picture of a battered wife pushed to the edge. The prosecution painted a picture of a greedy woman who realized her husband was going broke and wanted the life insurance. The truth? It was probably both. When she took the stand, she looked directly at me. My sister, she said, sobbing. She could have saved me. She had the money. She had the power. She turned me away. The press ate it up. Cold-hearted sister refuses to help abused sibling. Terrence was furious. He wanted to sue for defamation. Let it go, I told him. The truth will come out. And it did. The prosecution played a recording. It was from Mike's phone, taken minutes before he died. Cecilia's voice, shrill and hateful. You useless bastard. You lost the money. You lost the status. I should have killed you months ago. If I kill you, I get the insurance. I can start over. Then the sounds of a struggle. A scream. Silence. The jury took 2 hours. Guilty. First-degree murder. Life in prison. No parole. As they led her away in handcuffs, she screamed my name. Demi. This is your fault. You stole my life. You stole my luck. It should have been you. I watched her go. I felt light. The weight of my past life, the ghost of my own murder, finally evaporated. I walked out of the courthouse. The sun was shining. Terrence was waiting by his car. He held out his hand. Ready to go home? I took his hand. Yes. 5 years later, I walked into the nursery. My twin sons, Leo and Julian, were sleeping soundly. They weren't Mike Spencer's sons. They were Terrence Felton's. And they were perfect. I kissed their foreheads and went downstairs. Terrence was in the kitchen, trying to cook pancakes and failing miserably. I think I burned the pan, he admitted, looking sheepish. I laughed, wrapping my arms around him from behind. Stick to mergers and acquisitions, darling. Leave the cooking to the chef. I just wanted to do something nice for our anniversary. You built me a library last week. That counts. We sat down at the table. Life was good. Business was thriving. My parents had retired to Florida, too ashamed to show their faces in Norwick after the trial. I visited Cecilia once a year. She had aged 20 years and 5. The prison was rough. She worked in the laundry, scrubbing sheets for pennies. Do you have money? She asked me last time, her hands raw and red. Can you put money on my commissary? I can, I said. But I won't. Why? You're a billionaire. You have everything. I have everything I worked for. I corrected. You have everything you chose. I looked at her one last time. You wanted the easy way, Cecilia. You thought marrying rich was the shortcut. You didn't realize that the only person who can save you is yourself. I left her there, screaming at the glass partition. That evening, Terrence and I attended the Spencer Charity Gala. Irony of ironies, I had bought the Spencer estate when it went up for auction to pay off Mike's debts. I turned it into a foundation for domestic abuse victims. Mike's parents were there, humble and grateful for the invite. They had lost everything, their fortune, their son, their pride. Miss Dawson. Mrs. Felton, Mike's father stammered. Thank you for letting us come. It's a good cause, I said politely. I stood on the balcony, looking out over the gardens where Cecilia had once bragged about her wedding dress. Terrence joined me. Thinking about the past? No, I said. Thinking about how different things could have been. If you had chosen Mike? If I had chosen fear? I turned to him. They told us one had to run the business and one had to marry. They made it sound like a punishment and a prize. But they were wrong. How so? The business was the prize. The freedom. The ability to stand on my own 2 feet. Cecilia saw it as a burden. She wanted to be carried. And she fell. Terrence kissed my temple. And you flew. I looked at the stars. I had been reborn. I had been given a second chance. I didn't waste it on revenge. I didn't waste it on pettiness. I built a life. A real one. Not based on a name, or a man, or an inheritance. I built it brick by brick, deal by deal. And as I stood there in the arms of the man who loved me for my mind, not my obedience, I knew one thing for sure. The best revenge isn't stabbing someone back. It's living so well that their existence becomes irrelevant. Come on, Terrence whispered. The boys will wake up soon. Let's go, I said. We walked back inside, leaving the ghosts of the Spencer estate in the dark, where they belonged.